morning, everyone. This is Commissioner Scar. Today is Tuesday, September 12th, 2023, and we'll call this meeting to order at 8 a.m. Before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone to mute their phone. You can do this by pressing star 6. Please unmute yourself when called to speak, again pressing star 6. It is very important for all others to remain muted. Thank you. Okay, well, I'm here this morning with you as your commissioner, and Commissioner Yamamoto is unable to join us today. And I'm going to give a shout out to Commissioner Bell and see if she is here on the phone on a number I don't recognize. Okay, it appears she is also unable to join us this morning. All right, we will go ahead and kick off the call with Adventist Health Tillamook. Eric Swanson, are you with us today?
Good morning, this is Mary Bates.
Thank you, Commissioner. Welcome. Okay, looks like Adventist Health is not with us today, so we will jump into the Coastal Caucus, and I do know that we have Senator Weber with us. You want to kick us off, Senator?
Oh, I'd love to. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's a beautiful day today, isn't it? Another one. We're just chalking them up. My peas are still growing, and my green beans have grown up the tree, so it's quite a gardening season. It's been another busy week for me. Started out taking Henry to college. Henry lived with me for the summer, and he is a student of U of O, and so I got to take him to Eugene to get him situated in his dorm, which seeing the college from that light was really interesting. It's been a long time since I was in a college dorm, and they're busy places, let me tell you. And then on the way home, the Coastal Caucus met, and I was able to stop at the fire station in Hebo to be able to tune into the meeting. And it was a very interesting meeting. We talked extensively about the Helping Hands and the hope for continued funding for them because of all of the good things that they have done, especially for our county and for our citizens, helping them get clean and sober and housed and employed. They're a great resource for us. And we also talked about the fact that the one in Lincoln City should be opening up soon. And so that is another resource that we will have in our coastal communities for the homeless especially, and people who are in need of help. And you know, we also have one in Clatsop County, and that is also very welcoming, very successful, and I have had many conversations with folks who have received help from the Helping Hands. And so, you know, they're a valuable resource. Then on Friday, I went back to Salem for the Joint Appropriations Committee on Education. It was a lengthy Friday afternoon meeting where we talked about all of the reports of everything that has been happening in the education field since we adjourned in June. And we have 2 more meetings scheduled, similarly to look into what has been happening. And we had some wonderful discussions on how we can go forward to improve what we're doing in our education system. We heard from preschool all the way to college. Then the other thing, this week, working on my newsletter. I haven't been doing as many of them through the summer, but this one seems to be quite lengthy because there's been a lot of action, a lot of things happening, and so that is out right now. Yesterday I had a really interesting meeting with City Manager ODOT and Representative Javity to talk about some possibilities for, you know, economic growth within our community. And hopefully there will be something come of that so that we can, you know, continue to grow and provide for the community here. Thursday coming up we have two really important meetings in our community. We belong to a group called COLPAC, which is the Columbia Pacific Economic Development Group, and that will be meeting here on Thursday morning from 10 to noon at TBCC. If you're interested in the economic development of the whole area, the whole region, there will be people here from Scappoose and Astoria and often from Hillsborough and Forest Grove in that area. It's a very interesting meeting to find out what exactly is going on. But then in the afternoon, from 1 to 3, it's the Northwest Act, also in the same location. And they are going to be going over the Highway 6 report. And if you're interested in hearing that from those folks, I think that, being there at TBCC to hear it would be interesting for you. We have another high-level meeting that's happening in Tillamook. We seem to be the hub, probably because we've got more ice cream and cheese and good stuff like that. But the AOC, the Association of Oregon Counties, is going to be meeting here also. And there's also going to be a meeting concerning the wildfire hazard maps, which have been redone. And so that is extremely important. When looking at the map and the wildfires, we have been in really good condition this year. And I am hoping that that will continue, seeing as how once upon a time, in the olden days, we were the site of the Tillamook burn. And so let's hope. There's some exciting things happening here this week. The Masonic Lodge is going to be rededicated. And then the YMCA is going to have its auction. And their theme this year is There's No Place Like Home. And it is a wonderful opportunity to be able to contribute to an organization that provides so much for our community. And congratulations to them also on the purchase of the bowling alley, because they'll be able to expand their operations beyond what is on Stillwell Avenue. So if you are able, Saturday night, the fairgrounds is the place to be for the YMCA auction. And then, because we are such a philanthropic community, we're also, and county, we're going to have a Habitat for Humanity ribbon cutting on September 21st. That's coming up. That's exciting, being able to provide housing for a family. And I also want to extend my sympathies to the community of Rockaway and their tragic fire that took the life of Adam Breck. We think that these things don't happen to us anymore, but they do. And you have to make sure that you are, that your electrical and your trash and everything else like that is such that if there is a fire, that you can get out. We don't know always when they're going to happen, and we have to be prepared. And so it might be a good time to not only check your smoke detectors, which is something you should do every fall when the time changes, but it's something that you need to do and be aware of, that fire safety is a real thing, and it can strike anywhere. And so I want to extend my deepest sympathies to them. Other than that, I'm going to continue to be busy and continue with constituent meetings. And there's one thing I wanted to add to what I put out in the newsletter, and that is one of the committees that I have been appointed to by the President of the Senate was the Conduct Committee. And it's a very important committee, but it only meets when there is an issue that needs to be discussed. And last session, we only had 2 meetings to discuss various issues that had come up. And so someone had asked me when my Conduct committee meeting was going to be during Ledge Days, which are coming up the 27th, 28th, and 29th. And it won't be meeting because there are no issues currently that need to be addressed. So that is one meeting that you won't have to worry about. We're also meeting as the full Senate to approve the appointments that the governor has made to various committees and agencies, and we'll be doing that most likely on Friday morning of that week. So we have busy times coming up, and I want to thank you for the opportunity to be able to once again tell you what I'm doing and give you food for thought. And you know that if you have a question or if you have a concern, you can always reach out to me, and I will always be there to discuss it with you. So thank you again.
Thank you, Senator. Appreciate that. Any questions for the good senator? Okay, not hearing any, I'm going to give a shout out to Representative Javity. I'm not seeing a number I expect, but sometimes I miss stuff. And last week I did not give him his opportunity right at the beginning. Okay, not hearing from him, I will keep my eye out for his number in case he is able to join us in a few moments. All right, we will move on to the Tillamook County Community Health Center. I believe see Ed Colson with us.
Yes, good morning, Commissioner, and good morning, Tillamook County. Well, we have, well water testing. We have well water testing available because having clean and safe drinking water is an important part of your health. If you get your water from a well, inspecting your well and testing the water every year for nitrates and bacteria is important because contaminated water or damage to the well can lead to both short and long-term health problems. Tillamook County Community Health Centers is offering free nitrate and bacteria testing to well users during the whole month of September. So to learn more and sign up, please go to our website, tillamookchc.org/wells. Schedule a wellness exam now through December 31st, 2023 for ages 3 and up for an opportunity to receive a gift card in the mail after you visit. These annual wellness exams meet the criteria for sports physicals and have no out-of-pocket costs for the exam and labs that can be done in our clinic. Learn more at tillamookchc.org and then call 503-842-3900 to schedule. All our providers are accepting new patients. Our mobile clinic continues to be stationed up in Nehalem every second and fourth Monday of every month at the bottom gravel pit parking lot in the corner of 101 and 7th Street, while we provide dental services to our North County residents. The schedule is open now, so please call our dental staff at 503-842-2356 for more information or help booking your appointment in North County. Now, we have received notice that the FDA approved a COVID-19 booster for those who are 6 months and older. We expect final approval from OHA to be received in the coming days. And when the vaccine is available and physically within Tillamook County, we will alert folks through our normal channels such as radio, social media, and our website. For resources and support in finding a vaccine, you can call Tillamook County Public Health at 503-842-3940 or 211. If you think you might have COVID-19 or have symptoms, we do have at-home COVID test kits. They are available at all county library branches as well as at our main clinic off of 9th Street. And then this Saturday, September 16th, our public health staff will be tabling at the Tillamook Early Learning Center's second annual Color Fun Run out at the Tillamook Port from 9 a.m. to 12. We will have lots of freebies and resources to hand out, and we hope to see you there. And that's our report, and I'll turn it back over to you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Ed. Appreciate that. Any questions for Ed?
This is Senator Weber. May I ask one question, please?
Yes, please.
When you are testing well water, do you also test for metals and minerals?
Yeah, in regards to testing there, Senator, if we have more information, I don't have the testing list in front of me, and our website will have that, but we definitely want to test for nitrates and bacteria, and if there are specific metals that are listed in there, it should be listed on our website. I just don't have that in front of me, the list. But I will make sure that we have it if it isn't on the website.
Thank you.
Great information. Thank you. Okay, if there are no other questions, we will move on to the Nehalem Bay Health Center and Pharmacy. Gail Nelson, good morning.
Yes, good morning, everyone, and thank you, Ed, for the reminder about the free testing for the well users. We also are a well user here up in Nehalem, so I might take you up on that. Just a few announcements also related to vaccines. We are also awaiting the latest approval of the latest COVID vaccine. Our team is working with suppliers to pre-plan orders. We'll be able to offer that as soon as we can get it. And yes, we also have some free COVID tests, a good supply of them, and an N95 masks on hand for people who happen to need them. Related to our pharmacy, for those patients who live in North County and may need to find a new pharmacy, our pharmacy located inside the health center here in Wheeler may be able to help. Please visit our website at nehalenbayhealth.org to learn more. And last, another shout out for our North County walking group. The wellness team from Nehalem Bay Health Center, get this, runs a walking group every Tuesday morning at 10. The community is invited to join as we explore a different location each week. And for the locations, you can visit, again, our website, nehalenbayhealth.org, or Facebook page at Nehalem Bay Health. And that's my announcement. Those are my announcements for this morning. If you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them for you.
Thank you, Gail. Any questions for Gail? Okay, not hearing any. We will move on to the Tillamook Family Counseling Center. Frank Hanna Williams. Good morning, Frank.
Good morning, Commissioner. Frank Hanna Williams here, Director, Tillamook Family Counseling Center, Behavioral Health Services for Tillamook County residents. If you have any questions about any of our services for appointments and other information, you can reach us at 503-842-8201. And you can also reach us at 1-800-962-2851. Want to just say that we're kind of in the midst of adding a few members to our staff and dealing with staffing challenges. And over the next month, we'll be bringing on some new staff here. And if you have any questions about that, you can call the agency and ask to speak with me directly. We're, as I said, in the midst of dealing with some staffing challenges. And bringing on staff is one thing, and also there are some challenges that we're working around in relation to housing the staff that we bring on. But we're working very hard on that, and we also want to say that we're at times perhaps not able to respond as quickly as possible with appointment times, but we're working on that. So I want to share that information with you. So if you have any questions or any additional questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them at this time.
Thank you, Frank. I was just thinking back, I think it was last week that we signed the proclamation for Suicide Awareness Month. Can you talk just briefly about that?
Well, I think that last month we attempted to do something that we try to do every September, which is to lift up that suicide prevention is a significant public health issue, and that there are some things that we can do as community members about learning about the things that we might know to be helpful to our neighbors. One of the things that we do here is it's called Question, Persuade, and Refer, and it is a relatively brief period of about an hour and a half of learning about some simple skills and questions that people can ask of persons in their life and be aware so that they may be able to refer folks to services and supports in the community. our crisis response here is a 24/7 response, and folks can call if they're in need and be seen. There may be some things that we may be able to do that are at a little bit lower level. I think that sometimes when people think of harm to self, they think immediately that it's going to be the most extreme situation of movement to a hospital setting. But there are some things that there are some supports that people can provide for their neighbors and their friends, which may simply be listening, reflecting that there are some helping persons in the person's life, your neighbors, your pastor, your primary care physician, and those kinds of supports are important to us all at times, and especially they can be important at times when there's a tremendous amount of stress in our lives. So that's really what I would respond to that, Commissioner Scar, is lifting up that there are some supports. We have, through our QPR process, again, we have trained over 300 Tillamook County residents in question, persuade, and refer. That means 300 people have been exposed to a number of kinds of supports that they may be able to bring to their neighbors. And we look forward to being able to continue with QPR during the next year, and I think hope to be able to reach a number of about 500 people. So that is a little bit of what you asked me to share, and that's what I have to share today.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Frank. I think that we do proclaim September as National Suicide Prevention Month, I believe, each year, and we do that for exactly the reasons that you stated. It's just important for all of us to recognize and realize that death by suicide is a public health issue. It's something that we have the ability to impact, and each and every one of us has the ability to learn more about how to be a support in our community. So I thank you for talking about that for a few minutes. I think it's an important thing we don't want to forget to raise up regularly. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on, the Sheriff's Office. Oh, was there a question? Go ahead.
This is Mary Faith, but if Josh is ready, you can come back to me.
I am here. Am I up?
You are, thank
Yes,
you.
Sheriff,
Please
go ahead.
So a couple things to talk about. First and foremost, as most people are probably aware, we had an officer-involved shooting late last week in North County. First thing I want to say is I want to offer my condolences and my support to everybody that was involved in that, as well as all family and friends of the people affected. This is something we never wish that would happen during our career, and it is a tragic event. The second thing I will say is it is very important that because our office was involved, that we are hands-off, and that protects the integrity of the investigation. There is an outside agency, Clatsop County Major Crimes Team, that is doing the investigation, and with everything that is going on, I am unable to say anything more about it, and will not say anything more about it. So I just want to make sure that that's clear, that there's reasons why things are not being put out. So after that, what I want to talk about is an exciting thing that we had happen on Wednesday of last week. I swore in 3 new deputies during our newly formed procedure or ceremony that we do. I swore in a corrections technician. She's been with us for about a month and a half. I swore in a patrol deputy who's been with us for about 4 weeks, and then I also swore in a corrections deputy that had only started a few days before, just the week before. So it was very exciting. We are going to be doing a press release today or a post on social media about this, and be able to show who it is that we brought on and who we were able to swear in. we're just very excited to have them on board, and we're just going to continue working on getting people hired and really developing the culture here. So the last thing, or the third thing I want to talk about is if you follow our social media page or listen to the radio, then you've heard I will be hosting 3 town halls. It's something that I've wanted to do since I got into office and just have had a hard time finding the time, but kind of made it happen now, basically. Just made the time happen. So the dates are the 20th, 21st, 20th, and 22nd of September. That's a Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Central County, which is the Tillamook County Library main branch, will be September 20th. We're going to go to South County, the Pacific City Library branch, on the 21st, and then North County, which will be the Manzanita Library, on the 22nd. All 3 of these will be held between the hours of 4 and 5:30 p.m. And I'm really hoping we get a lot of people there. Really love engaging in conversation, and I like answering questions that I'm able to during these things. So I am excited for that and hope to see everybody there. With that, I have nothing else, and I can take questions.
Perfect. Thank you, Sheriff. Any questions for the Sheriff? Okay, not hearing any. We would move on to emergency management, unless Commissioner Bell, you wanted to jump in here. Was there a question that you had?
That's okay. I'll just talk when it's my turn. Thank you.
Okay. I didn't want to lose the thread of a conversation. Okay, so
That's
emergency management. Randy Thorpe.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning.
First of all, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the drought situation and wells running dry within our county. I just want to let everybody know there is help available out there. You don't need to go dip out of the creek next to you for your drinking water. So if you do have some issues with your well running dry, please call my office here. That number is 503-842-3412. There is a couple of state agencies that can step in and assist with delivery of water, but if we don't know you need help, we can't help you. So please, reach out if you're having issues with your wells and not having enough water for your needs. So I think we're still going to be looking at drought for the next month or so here. Not a whole lot of rain in the future. So I just wanted to put that out there so people who are listening and may be affected with this, please reach out. You can also reach out to our county health department. Jamie Craig in environmental health is also working with different agencies and cooperators and assisting here too. So there is help available. We just need people to reach out and let us know how we can help them. So that's the main thing I wanted to put out this morning. Also, the TC4 volunteer group is still moving forward with their shakeout move out for October 19th. Well, we'll go ahead and do the main shakeout earthquake drill, and then if you're in a tsunami zone, we're hoping that you will take advantage of this opportunity to become familiar with your evacuation routes and your assembly points. So this should be a great opportunity to test some preparedness here later on this month. Well, next month, I guess. Well, it's almost October, but not quite. So anyway, next month. So there'll be more information coming out. There will be a major news release coming out after Thursday's meeting. We just want to make sure that all the cooperators and partners in this endeavor have a chance to look over that news release that we will be disseminating out. So with that, that's all I've got. Just enjoy this nice weather that we have today.
Thank you, Randy. And I'm just going to jump back on the drought conversation quickly. The commissioners are working with Randy and with the state and with Jamie Craig to gather data from all of our water systems across the community in consideration of doing a drought declaration. It's an interesting situation the county is in. We do not control water within the county. Instead, water is managed by many special districts, by cities, and of course, lots of people have individual wells. So we're not necessarily in a position to have that data at our fingertips as to how much water people have, but we are the body that can declare a drought in the event that state resources are needed. So we are in the process of working through partnership with those different water districts and cities to gather the information to determine if a drought declaration would benefit those operators in terms of additional resources that could come to our community. Most recently, Lincoln County, our neighbor to the south, declared a drought. So we know that we are definitely seeing drier conditions, drought conditions. We are having wells dry up that have not dried up in the past or have not dried up this early. We are seeing water systems declare water shortages and require some form of reduction in water use. So these are things that are a bit atypical in Tillamook County, and we're working to get the data we would need to determine if a drought declaration is the right move. So if you are listening today and you happen to be on the board of a water district or you are familiar with what's happening in your water district, if you could reach out to Randy and just let him know what that data is that you are basing your decisions on, so that we're able to really assess that and see if a declaration makes sense. So we've done a lot of outreach, but I think a lot of water systems are kind of confused and uncertain why the commissioner's office and or emergency management might be reaching out. So I'm going to just use this to give a little context and invite everyone to participate with us to see if there are additional resources that would benefit everyone in our county. So, okay, thank you, Randy. I appreciate that. We will move on to the Board of Commissioners. Commissioner Bell.
Good morning. Well, when I was jumping in before when Frank was talking, because I was thinking about Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, and a situation that I encountered recently, it was timely in terms of us recognizing this month and talking about it for awareness. I was talking to somebody who is experiencing depression, and I think it's probably reasonable to say that at different times in our lives, all of us experience depression. It's just sometimes we're in depressing situations. And so, it's normal. People experience depression, and hopefully it transitions out of our lives as our situations change. But then some people experience clinical depression, which is really about their brain chemistry. So I'm not a doctor, so I won't go into that. But you can definitely, if you're experiencing depression that doesn't change, I encourage you to talk to your doctor about it, because it's part of our health. Our mental health is part of our health. So I was talking to someone recently who is experiencing depression, who asked me the question, what is the point? As in, what is the point of life? And it was very moving to me. It was a really powerful conversation because it's so important, and not everybody has a ready answer for that. Not everybody has a ready answer for what is the point. And I said, the point for me is that I believe that we're here to be of service to our fellow humans. That's the point for me, but that's what I believe, that we're here to be of service to one another. But people believe different things, and the point is that we have to develop our own belief system about what is the point. So since then, I've been having conversations with people about that. What's the point of life for you? For some people, it's family. For some people, it's being happy, being joyful. For some people, it's work. But people need their own point. They need to have developed that thing that they hang on to. Like, this is the point. This is why I think I'm here. So, and we had this conversation, and then I came back to it and said, okay, so should I be worried about your safety? Are you thinking about harming yourself? And this person assured me that they were not, and that wasn't a consideration for them. But it reminded me of the QPR program that Frank has talked about on this call several times, many times, that he just talked about again today: question, persuade, refer. And it reminded me that I should go through that program. I'm going to call and sign up for it, because I was able to have the conversation about, should I be concerned about you? Are you in danger? Are you thinking about harming yourself? I asked those questions, but I didn't have a ready response in my head that I might have had if I'd been through that QPR program. So I'm going to call Tillamook Family Counseling and sign up for the QPR program, because the truth is that everybody you know, including perhaps yourself, will experience depression in our lifetimes, and it might be dangerous. It might be dangerous, and we need people around us who care about us to just be able to talk to us about it. And we need to have the confidence and the tools to be able to talk to people about it when it comes up. So I wanted to share that. And shout out to the Sheriff's Office for the incident that Sheriff Brown was talking about, and the state police, that it was devastating, no doubt, devastating to everyone involved, and so sad and difficult, and also to the fire department in Rockaway for that terrible loss. So we've had some very difficult situations in the last week, and I've been thinking about first responders, and I was thinking about them particularly in the context of the anniversary of 9/11 yesterday, and how many first responders lost their lives in that terrible terrorist attack, and just that first responders put themselves in the line of fire. They put their lives on the line for us day in and day out, and they encounter the most difficult things that happen in our community, including a beloved community member dying in a house fire. So, it's a super tough job and a huge service that they do to us, speaking of being of service to our fellow humans. So shout out to them, and thank you so much for their service to us. And I think that, I was at the TBCC board meeting last night, and we were talking about that. We saw the plans for the building that voters approved, and it's moving along. It's exciting. We anticipate groundbreaking in the spring, and so I just want to give the community an update that those plans are moving along. The nursing program plans are moving along. People have been asking me about that. When will TBCC have nursing students? And so that's coming along soon. And if you're interested in the TBCC nursing program, you should inquire at the college, because they're starting to gather names and talk to people about that now, and very likely the classes will start before the program is built, because a lot of the classes are it's classroom work as opposed to the lab work that will be available after the building is built. So if you're interested in the TBCC nursing program, please reach out to the college soon. And just to follow up on what Randy Thorpe was talking about with the Great American Shakeout, October 19, we'll be talking about this more as it approaches, but the press release for that should go out later this week, probably by Friday. And we're working on its translation, so we'll have it in English and in Spanish. And the press release will go on the emergency management landing page of the county website, so you'll be able to find it there, and you'll find it on the Tillamook County Pioneer and other places in media, and it'll talk about the Great American Shakeout, which is a nationwide event, as Randy said, where people can practice their earthquake response, what happens where you live when there's an earthquake, and then also locally we're going to practice tsunami evacuation routes. And in the press release, there will be a list of the communities that are planning a tsunami evacuation drill. There will be a list of those communities. We have several communities that are planning organized tsunami evacuation drill. And in the press release, there will be websites for those communities: North County, South County, Nadana, etc., and a bunch of them. And you'll be able to go to their website and figure out where their evacuation route is, and where they're going to meet, what's going to be happening. So more information forthcoming on that. It's very important. And I think I will close with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Appreciate that. Okay, well, I will jump in since we don't have Commissioner Yamamoto today. I'm going to touch on a couple of things. I'm going to start with Cycle Oregon. Just kind of a heads up for everyone that Cycle Oregon is in Tillamook. They came in yesterday, and they're set up down at the Nestucca K-8 program, or 812 site in South Tillamook County. They are doing a ride today on the Three Capes Scenic Route, but there will be other bicyclists that are traveling other routes. That's their main cycle adventure for today, but they could be anywhere around Tillamook County, particularly on the south end. So please drive with caution and know that there are a lot of bicycles on the road. In fact, I drove to Salem yesterday and there were already a lot of bicycles on the road. So, but it's fun to have Cycle Oregon here. They're a great organization, bring a lot of folks out to Tillamook County to enjoy the wild places. So that is cool. This evening, in fact, I'm going to go down and visit with Cycle Oregon and take the opportunity to talk a little bit about the Salmonberry Trail. Last week, I was able to go up and take a little walk on the Salmonberry Trail along with Representative Javity and Caroline Fitchett, who's the Executive Director of the Salmonberry Trail Foundation, as well as Karen, who is a city councilor for the city of Wheeler. So we were able to do a walk and talk and just sort of think about what that trail might look like into its future, which is very exciting. There's a lot of energy getting started around getting pieces of that trail open, perhaps pieces that where we don't even pull the rails yet, and places where the train doesn't go, and just adding some soft surface to those where people can start to walk the trail. So it's not open yet. Please don't jump the gun, but we are getting started, getting excited about getting it open. So if you want to know more, if you'd like to participate as a volunteer in trail clearing events, we invite you to go to our website, salmonberrytrail.org, and you can keep your eyes on when events are going to happen so you can get involved. I'm going to make a quick announcement. Champion Park Apartments is currently going through a process called preservation. And preservation for an affordable apartment building is where they essentially refinance the building, sometimes with a new investor, like they did in this case, and all of the buildings are rehabbed. So they're going through renovation. So right now, there's a lot of information and misinformation swirling in the community about what's happening. So renovation is happening. People who currently live there need to recertify that they qualify financially to be in the building, and they will need to move out of their apartment briefly so that it can be renovated, but costs for moving and costs for where people will go are covered in the renovation project. So I know I have seen a number of posts on Facebook saying 70 people are being evicted, and I'd just like to clarify, I've spoken with the manager at the project. There are not 70 people being evicted. All of the tenants need to recertify, which means they need to go to the office and provide their paperwork to show their income, etc., to be part of the project. And the eviction is, if you fail to do that, you can be evicted, but that's not, no one's being evicted currently. So just FYI, the information that's out in the community is not entirely accurate. It is a concern that everyone receive the support they need to go through the recertification process, and we are talking with the management company just to make sure that's happening. So if you hear from someone that they're not getting the support they need, please refer them to CARE, where a case manager can help walk them through that process if needed. Okay, so then I'm going to talk about the piece we've been talking about for years, which is, of course, the Habitat Conservation Plan. It is, of course, the relationship between state forests and counties and what happens next. I was at a meeting yesterday in Salem that was called at the request of the governor's office for all 15 of the Forest Trust land counties. The governor's office has reached out and asked that the Forest Trust land counties come to the table to talk about the future of timber harvest, the future of how counties and special districts utilize that funding, and how the state can work with us to try to tweak the model, create a different model. It's unclear at this time exactly what they're asking from us, other than to come to the table and talk about the fact that the HCP is likely a foregone conclusion and that we are likely to lose revenue, and that the state wants to talk with us about how to make sure the impacts fiscally to counties are managed and special districts are managed. So the meeting that we were at yesterday was really just a listening session with the governor's office for them to understand the potential impacts to our counties. On this call last week, I talked about some of the impacts to Tillamook County specifically. Under the HCP, 30% of our forest that we have relied on for harvest will no longer be harvestable. It will be set aside as habitat conservation areas. So that could mean as much as a 30% drop in revenue for our special districts and our county. And the important part of that is that those funds are used to pay for very basic services, such as the sheriff's office that we were just talking about how much we appreciate our first responders and the work they do. Well, our timber harvest dollars help to pay for that. 25% of our general fund are those timber tax dollars. So as we look at this and as we have this conversation, it is really important that the county is engaged with the governor's office, engaged in this conversation, and is willing to look at what options are on the table to ensure certainty in our revenue. This is not an easy conversation to have. Tillamook County has long been a timber county. We see that as part of our identity. These resources have been a huge part of our financial position forever and ever. So there's an uncertainty in the future that's very disconcerting, but I do want to make sure that the community is aware of the conversation, that they hear it first from us, not through a Channel 2 news broadcast, but we are part of that conversation with the governor's office to understand what will happen in our future related to timber revenue. So I'll leave it at that. I know there's probably a lot more you'd like to know, and if I knew more, I would share more, but we are very much in the beginning stages of that conversation. All right, with that, I am going to move us on to our cities, and we're going to start with the city of Manzanita. Mayor Deb Simmons.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Scar. In Manzanita, there will be a work session for the City Council tomorrow, September 13th, that begins at 2 o'clock. It will be a Zoom meeting. One topic of discussion is the dark sky lighting ordinance to increase livability and protect the natural environment from the impact by minimizing light pollution. Another topic at that meeting will be an update from our STR committee. The next Mayor's Monday will be on September 18th at 10:30 at the library. These are casual chats with no set agenda, but they're generally full of lively discussion, and it's a good place to connect with neighbors. The council filled one position at the City Council meeting last week. We thank the 5 folks who applied and also congratulate Catherine Stock on receiving that appointment. At the end of the meeting, Councillor Brad Mayerly surprised us with his resignation, and so there is a council position open again. The city manager expects to post the application in the next week or two. We invite everyone to join us at the Underhill Plaza every Friday evening from 4 to 7 for the Farmers Market. This is located at 635 Manzanita Plaza. The Farmers Market will be running until September 22nd. And I just want to add that I noted, I heard from about 3 wells in our neighboring community that had dried up this past week, so it was very helpful to know that there is support available. It was great to have that information out there. Thank you again for making this broadcast possible, and I'll pass it back to you.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, moving on to Rockaway Beach. Do we have Mayor Charles McNeely? I believe we do.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Good morning.
Thank you, Commissioner. Charles McNeely from Rockaway Beach. Wednesday night, tomorrow night at 4:30, we have our City Council workshop, and that will be followed at 6 p.m. with our City Council meeting. They're full agendas, and if you're interested in the topics, please go to our website where all of the materials are available to review, including the agenda. mention that our farmers market is from 3 to 7 p.m. on Thursday at the Wayside in downtown Rockaway Beach. It's a great way to get a head start on the weekend. And then this coming weekend is the 47th annual Kite Festival. So hopefully the wind will be blowing, and it's always a great event. So please come and visit us Friday afternoon, Saturday, or Sunday early in the day, and experience all the incredible kites that will be on display. And then last, I'll just mention, and it's been talked about already, we did have 2 separate tragic events in our community last week. We lost 2 members of our community, so please keep us in your thoughts and prayers as family, friends, neighbors, and first responders grieve and heal from these events. Back to you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, moving on to Garibaldi. I believe we have interim Mayor Katie Fendling with us today.
Yes, hello. So
Good morning.
Good morning. We had a very busy weekend in Garibaldi with our inaugural Seafood and Spirits Festival run by the port, and it was definitely a success. I know my mom and I worked the Bistro Bar Cart in the VIP area. So there were great music and vendors and just great, fantastic ideas to take to next year, and even some ideas that we'll pull into Garibaldi Days. There's a Planning Commission meeting tonight, and an opening on that commission. If you know anyone in Garibaldi, we do need a spot filled there, and also for council. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I was able to enjoy the Seafood and Spirits Festival. It was a great event. I look forward to how that will grow each year. It was a fun event.
Definitely.
Okay, moving on to Bay City, and I believe we have Kathleen Baker, our mayor for Bay City.
Morning, thank you. Nothing new to report in Bay City. We are holding our monthly city council meeting tonight at 6 p.m. and we encourage the public to join in person, or they can call in on the phone. If they go to our city website, they can find the information to join the meeting tonight. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, moving on to the city of Tillamook. Do we have City Manager Nathan George?
Good morning, Commissioner. This is me.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, I have a few things. Thank you very much. So in our police department had Coffee with a Cop on Starbucks. They have coming up next week on the 20th, working in partnership with our local Starbucks on North Main next to Denny's near Fred Meyer. In addition, the police department also had a department meeting and met with our partners at CARE Inc. and their street outreach peer support team. It was actually really neat. I was there and we had literally almost every single person that works from CARE come in and meet all of our officers, and officers got to meet every single one of those folks that work at CARE, and they do an amazing work. It was, from my perspective, it was pretty amazing to watch the police officers thank the CARE and the CARE turn around and thank the officers for what they do. What a partnership we have, and if people aren't aware, literally CARE Inc. has their support staff that work 24/7. They literally have a swing shift, day shift, and graveyard shift, just like a factory may have, that really help those in our community who are struggling with poverty or struggling with homelessness. So that was really, really neat. Also, our police department, as Sheriff Brown talked about the major crimes event in Rockaway this past end of the week. Just want to let you know our police department also deployed and assisted with that and assists every time we're called out for major crimes. Also, Lieutenant Troxel attended the Fallen Heroes Golf Tournament yesterday, which of course is September 11th. I just wanted to say how happy I am that Lieutenant Troxel would do that. I don't know if you're aware, but he is a huge part of helping with all fallen heroes, especially in law enforcement throughout the state of Oregon. He goes out and supports families and supports different departments and law enforcement agencies when this happens, and that's a huge benefit. It's a benefit to us, and it's a benefit to those people too. So we're really happy about that. In our Public Works Department, our Water Distribution Division is working on the on-site chlorine generator in Well 3. And Well 3 is, we have 2 active wells, Well 2 and Well 3, and they're both over near our elementary and middle school. Sorry if I got the term wrong there. Over off of, oh gosh, what? I'm losing my thoughts here, but over near Meadows Drive. Work will be completed this week to get Well 3 back online and running automatically again. The 2 Americans with Disabilities Act compliant ramps, so ADA ramps, were installed on the corners of 5th Street and Stillwell Avenue yesterday. Please be mindful of employees' equipment and freshly poured cement in this area. Paving on 5th Street to Douglas Avenue will begin in September. this month, and will be finished up in early October. Due to vandalism at the pay box at the Carnahan Park, we will not be accepting the $2 parking fee. We are working to repair the box and hope to have it fixed sometime next week. And please join us for a free outdoor movie night this Friday. We will stream the movie Lightyear at Goodspeed Park this Friday, the 15th. The movie will begin at dusk, around 8 p.m. This is a free family family-friendly event for children and adults of all ages and abilities to enjoy a movie and popcorn in the heart of Tillamook. Please bring your favorite choice of seating, chairs, blankets, etc., and any additional snacks or non-alcoholic beverages for your enjoyment. Remember to spread the word by telling your family, friends, and neighbors, and we look forward to seeing you there. If you'd like to become a future sponsor for movie nights and events, please contact our Public Works Department. By contacting one, you can always call our main number, which is 503-842-2472, extension 5945, or you can find our main number online and just call. And you can also email publicworks@tillamookor.gov. And for a fun fact, did you know the story of Tillamook County began on August 14th, 1788, when Captain Robert Gray, an American sailing the sloop Lady Washington, anchored in Tillamook Bay, thinking he'd found the great river of the West. This was the first landing on the Oregon coast from the outside countries. The next council meeting will be held on Monday, September 21st at 7 p.m. We encourage anyone who's interested to please come see your local government in action. And that's all I have, Commissioner. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nathan. Okay, South County. Doug Olson, what's happening in South County?
Well, good morning, Commissioner. I'll just add a little to what you mentioned earlier about the Cycle Oregon ride. I spent a couple of hours up there yesterday at the Chambers booth. We set up our beautiful blue tent, and what's up at the school is an entire city, if you will. There's about 1,300 riders and another couple hundred support people. They have portable showers. They're feeding these people 3 meals a day. They have medical services. They have little entertainment tents. They have a portable stage. There's another concert tonight, and it's absolutely fascinating to visit with these people. I talked with someone from the northern tip of Japan, another person who came up from Rhode Island, others up from California and up near Canada and Washington State, and literally from all over the country, as well as right here in the Northwest. And it's absolutely fascinating to see how this is organized and how it goes up one day and it'll come down a couple of days later and be reset up at the next town, which I believe is Toledo on Wednesday. So if you see the riders around, you do need to give them a little space because our highways do not have adequate bike lanes in many cases. And as you mentioned today, there's a side ride up the Three Capes Loop. I think they'll go as far as maybe clear into Oceanside, then back down over Cape Lookout, and then to Cape Kiwanda, and then back. And others will just be around town. I gave several of them a ride from here to there so they can see something, and it's interesting. So I guess the message is if you're out and about, particularly on the Three Capes Loop, be very, very careful because these folks are basically riding the white line on the right side of the road. And while they're expert bicycle riders, accidents do happen, so be careful. So right here in Tillamook County, there's another city that's popped up for a couple of days. So with that, Commissioner, thank you very much. It's a nice day, and we'll talk with you all later.
All right. Thank you, Doug. Appreciate that. All right. Well, we have covered the county north to south. So with that, we're just going to thank KTIL for broadcasting, everyone for attending, and we're going to adjourn this meeting at 8:58 a.m. Thank you, everyone.